and welcome to my home. My name is Melissa. I am currently working as a support worker with Nuwasa Kandasu and Tag on a contract basis during this COVID-19 time. In this video, what I'm going to be doing is showing everyone who watches it how to craft or how to make a very simple no-face corn husk doll. The instructions on how to make this corn husk doll through this video will be so simple that I know that you will enjoy doing this with your children at home. Keep them busy during this time, their summer holidays during this COVID-19 time. As well, what I would like to do is I'll be sharing with you the legend on how the no-face corn husk doll came to be. So, again, welcome to my home and let's get this all started. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read to you the legend of the no-face doll. This is a Haudenosaunee legend or story, and it relates to the three sisters, the sustainers of life. There's been many people who have shared this story, and it's even written. So let me share it. The one I'm going to be referencing is by K. Olan Akwesasne Mohawk. For a long time, the Haudenosaunee have referred to the corn, beans, and squash as the three sisters or the sustainers of life. One of the three sisters, the spirit of the corn, was so pleased at having been given this distinction that she asked the Creator to think of something special that she could do to be a further assistance to the people who had so honored her. The Creator suggested that she make a doll from her husk, and so she did. She fashioned a lovely corn husk doll with a strikingly beautiful face. She instructed the doll to entertain all of the little children in the villages. The lovely corn husk doll did as she was instructed. She traveled from village to village telling wonderful stories and playing happy games with the children. All of the people grew to love the corn husk doll, and they expressed their joy in smiles and laughter. They frequently complimented her on her great beauty. All was well at first, but as time went on and more people told the corn husk doll how lovely she looked, something began to change. The corn husk doll began to spend less and less time with the children and more time gazing at her handsome reflection in the waters of the many lakes, rivers, and streams. She began to only think of herself. Eventually, the Creator called her to the Creator's lodge. On the way there, she stopped by a pool of water to admire her reflection, and in doing so, kept the Creator waiting for her arrival. When she finally did enter the Creator's lodge, the Creator reminded her of her responsibilities to the children and cautioned her against spending her time in self-admiration. The Creator warned her that if she did not change her ways, something would have to be done about it. The doll assured the Creator that she would remember her responsibilities, and she returned to the children of the villages. Before long, however, the people reminded her again of her great beauty. She began to spend less time with the children because she became too busy admiring herself. The Creator summoned her again, and just as before, the doll succumbed to the temptation of stopping to gaze at her reflection. When she finally arrived at the lodge, the Creator expressed disappointment in her. The Creator reminded her of how she had neglected the children because she had become too preoccupied with her thoughts of herself and her appearance. The Creator reminded her that she had been created with a purpose, and that purpose was to bring happiness to the little children. The Creator told her that she needed help controlling her vanity since she couldn't do it herself. Then the Creator instructed the corn husk doll to leave the lodge and look at her reflection in a nearby pond in order to comprehend the significance of the Creator's word. She left the lodge, walked to the pond, and looked into the waters. Now she understood. She no longer had a face. The Creator had taken it away. So the teaching behind this Haudenosaunee legend is of the not putting any face on the corn husks since this time. This is a teaching. It's a reminder that vanity, it says here that vanity can be an obstacle preventing us from accomplishing our appointed tasks. And people are also cautioned against placing too much emphasis on superficialities. So remember, you know, my part would be remember, you know, beauty is inside as well. So let's get started on the instructions and the how to make these simple no-face corn husk dolls. So what I'm going to show here now is the next step after telling you the story and saying welcome. I'm showing now what items you pretty much need, what you will need to be able to make your very simple, easy to do, doesn't take a lot of time, no-face corn husk doll. So first things first is you are going to need some corn husk. So I hope you can see that very clearly. I actually ordered it, ordered it online. Wasn't expensive. I tons of corn husk in this one package. And it was affordable, and I ordered it and it came the very next day. So you'll need corn husk. Those who have the skills or would like to give it a try, if you have fresh corn and you want to husk, when you husk that corn, take your corn husk, take the hair away from it and try to dry it yourself, you're welcome to do that. The next thing you will also need, or the other thing you'll also need, is a bowl. You can use a bowl, a bucket, depending on how much corn husk you're going to soak, and of course some water. So I'm not going to use a lot of corn husk, so I've got this bowl and I have water filled quarter. So the next step that needs to happen is being able to soak your corn husk in order to make it moist, pliable, and to be able to shape it. So I'm just going to open this bag, and I'm going to grab some, generally it's about 6 you can use of the corn husk, maybe let's say 8, depending on how big or how wide you want the corn husk dolls to be. So I'm going to probably be making 3 of them, like a boy, a mom, a dad, or something like that, a family. So just take them out of the bag, the packaging, open them up, and this is what they look like dried. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to put them and place them in this pot, this bowl of water. I'm just submerging them. So I will try to do my best here to see if you can see what I'm doing. So as you can see, I'm just submerging them in the water. I think I'll add more water in here. Probably will need more. So take corn husks, dried corn husks, submerge them in the water, wet them up, moisten them up. I'm going to take more water, and tap water is fine. I have it on tepid. I don't think it really matters the temperature of the water. What matters is just enough water and fully submerging your dried corn husks into the water. So as you can see, I'm just pulling them apart, and I'm taking them and I'm layering them in and submerging them in layers in this bowl of water, this tepid water. Take some more just in case, because you're going to need to make arms. So again, depending on how wide you want to make your doll, that's completely up to you. So they're easy to pull apart. You know, these are used for tamales as well, for people who make tamales. They will use the corn husks to wrap their ingredients in tamales. I've seen people use corn husks as a paper. They're very useful. So I'm going to put just one more in there. My bowl's getting pretty full here. If you're having your children help you, maybe you want to do it on a children's table, maybe outside in your backyard, picnic bench, yeah, your dinner table, wherever. Maybe what I would suggest is putting down a plastic bag, garbage bag, so nothing gets wet. Of course, it can get wet where we're working with water here. Okay, so I hope you can see this okay. This is what it looks like immersed in the water. Just take this cloth and I'm going to wipe it down because I did get water on the counter. And yeah, just keep moving them around until all of your dry corn husks are fully immersed in your bowl. So what I'm going to do as well now is I'm going to take another bowl, smaller bowl, as you can see, taking a smaller bowl, and I'm going to just do this. Try to push the corn husks under to keep them submerged. We need the corn husks to be submerged in the water fully in order to have it be wet to make it pliable to work with for these corn husks. So I'm taking the bowl and I'm putting it in there to try to keep those pieces from popping out. This is what we do as our next step. Sorry about that. That's what we do. This is what we do for our next step in making and creating these simple, beautiful dolls, corn husk dolls. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back later on. What we'll need later on is for these corn husks that we submerged, placed in a bowl of water, a pot of water, a bucket of water, to be completely moist, pliable, easy to work with. Be careful because they can fall apart, peel apart. What we're going to need next is we're going to need some twine and we're going to need some scissors. And that's pretty much what we'll need for the next step. Again, next step, it's also going to be wet, so you may want to put the plastic bag or some towels down if you're working with your children and showing them how to make these corn husk dolls, just to keep that area dry because, again, there's water. When you take them out, they're a bit moist. Well, they're moist. So I'll leave this until I feel that they're pliable, and I'll come back and show you the next steps to making your corn husk dolls. Thank you. Hi. Welcome back. I have taken the time to allow my corn husks that I submerged in the water in the earlier part of this video to get moist, also to be able to make it pliable. Earlier in this video, the earlier part of this video, you'll see that I had a bag of dried corn husks, a bowl, and a bowl. I filled that bowl with water. I took dried corn husk and I submerged them in the water, and I put on top of it another bowl in order to keep them weighed down so they could get moist, get wet. When they're wet, they're pliable. They do dry. It doesn't take too long for corn husks to dry. Whether they're dry or wet, though, just remember it's easy to actually have the corn husk break or peel apart. So try to be gentle with them. Now, the next part, I'm going to do is actually show you how to make the corn husk doll, sorry. And as I said previous, I would say about 6 corn husks, sheets of corn husks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh, let me get one more, and 6. You can see at the top of this corn husk, that's what it's like. So what I did is I'm going to now take the corn husks and put them together, layer them on top together, trying to align them as best as I can, opening them up, aligning them, especially at the bottom, because you know, if you have it properly cut at the bottom, or they're at the same level at the bottom, then it'll be easier to stand the corn husk dolls up. So this is going to be 6 pieces of corn husk that I have. What I did is I had to cut one corn husk, and you may find you need to cut the corn husks, trim them, so they're pretty much the same length or height, and that's 6. So it's really important at the bottom actually to try to align them at the bottom again if you're looking to stand your dolls up. So now I have 6 corn husks together, and at the top what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch it at the top. What you're going to need, your wet corn husks. I'm going to just move this camera so you can see. There's not too much required for this simple to make corn husk doll. A pair of scissors, whether it's sinew, thread, I have twine here, whatever you have available, you're going to need that. You're going to need to pre-cut them to a certain length because we're going to tie off certain parts of the corn husk in order to make the doll. I have another piece that I trimmed off from one of the other ones because it was very long. And these ones will be trimmed to have as arms. I've got a cloth here. Like I said, there's going to be some water from the moisture. So if you're, depending on where you're doing this, it'd be important to remember there's going to be moisture. So this is what I've done. I've gathered the corn husk all together. I'm going to take a piece of twine, and at the top, the very top of where I've gathered them, I'm going to pinch them together, gather them together, and I'm going to tie the twine like this. Tie it tight, and then I'm just going to make another knot. And that's what I'm going to do. Make as many knots as you need to ever make it, to make sure you have it tight. Tie this as tight as you can, tighten it. I'm just going to trim off some of this twine. So in the end, this is what it will look like. Now this is not, of course, the completion of the doll. So after that, what you're going to do is you're going to take the corn husk that you've gathered together. Again, there's 6 sheets here. It's pretty thick, as you can see. So that's why I don't think we need too many sheets of the corn husk. So you're going to take that, the 6, and you're going to have it 3 and 3 in the middle like that. That's what you're going to do. Separate them 3 and 3. Then you're going to turn them like this upside down. Tuck in that twine, and there you go. That's what it looks like on the top. So this is what it looks like at the bottom. So again, once you have them gathered at the top, tied off, take it, 3 and 3, 3 corn husk sheets here, 3 corn husk sheets here, and you're going to turn them upside down inside like that. So that part you see is actually inside, and it's going to be right here. So you could actually take these corn husks, because they're very pliable when they're wet, and you can move them around to kind of go like this. Some people add some yarn in there before they fold them upside down, or more pieces of the corn husks topped off. But this is, again, that's up to you. Right now I'm just showing you a very simple way of making these corn husks dolls. No face corn husk dolls. So it's no face. So there we go. The next thing we're going to do is you're going to take your twine again and you're going to tie it around right here. Make sure you have it moved around to the way you'd like to see it happening, so there's no gaps. And then you're going to now tie your twine again, your sinew, whatever you're using, pull it tight, and there you go. That's what it looks like. So it's standing up. I may want to trim it at the bottom a little bit after I'm done to make sure they stand up okay together. That's why it's important to make sure that at the bottom they're all aligned. So there we go. I'm going to just tie another knot. Tie as many knots, like I said, as you want to. As much as you want to tie it tight. Okay, so there we go. There would be the no face. Whichever way you want to put it, there's the no face. Again, before you tie off at the top, when you the first part you gather it, you can have some corn husks sticking upside down at the top, so when you flip it, you can have some hair. Your choice. But this is the simple way, so this is how it looks now. So there we go. Those are the first steps. Again, if you want to, you can trim that off. You want to use ribbon to be colorful. It's your choice. Use whatever you want. Whatever you and your children choose. So there we go. Right now I'm going to make the doll a female. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take another piece of corn husk and I'm going to just roll it. Actually, I'll probably roll it this way because it's a bit longer and I can trim it. Ooh, this one's a thick one. So roll it to make the arms. Let's see if I roll it this way. What I'll do, actually, is I'll take another piece here. This one's a bit thinner. Some of them can be thick. I'm going to roll this piece. That's your 7th piece for your corn husk doll. I'm going to roll it. Just like that. Right? And then where I've separated already, like I said, the pieces, 3 and 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so again, we're in half here. Open it up, and you're going to take that rolled up corn husk, okay, and there you go. So if you look, there's the start to forming our doll. Starting to look more like a doll, right? So you're going to take another piece of your tie-off sinew, whatever you want. I got yarn. You could use yarn, string, ribbon, whatever you would like. Okay, so I hope you can see this well. I'm tying it off. Pull it tight. Make sure it's secured. I'm going to put another knot in there just to keep it secured. So these no-face corn husk dolls, these simple ones, they don't require a lot of material to make them. They don't require a lot of time other than when you're soaking them. And yes, they can be as simple as you want them, or they can be as fancy as you want them. Whatever you want to do, that's your choice. Now you see I stuck that out. The other thing you could do, because that piece is thinner, if you wanted to just, you know, stick that piece back in there, that's up to you. Whatever you want to do. You could do that, or you could snip it off at the end. Whatever you want. Your choice. Okay? So what you could do here too is, if you wanted to just show off where the markings of the hands are, you can. You take it off. You tie it off at the end, see? Just like that. Tie it off. Just great. One side. Take the other. Tie it off on the other side. Now you'll see some people do have some pretty fancy corn dolls out there, especially from the Oneida Nation where this originated from, and the legend of the no-face doll from the three sisters, they're sustainers of life. They have some pretty fancy corn husks. Sometimes you can see some beadwork and things like that, and some clothing, you know. Some of them can be pretty crafty, so I'm going to continue just to shave off what I can. Okay, let me trim off some of this. There you go. There. There is your female corn husk. Mom, here's the mom. Again, if you wanted to add some yarn in there, or extra sinew, I mean not sinew, but anything, like even the corn husk, tuck it in there at the top. You know, when you fold it in, make sure it's there. And an introvert or inside, and then when you flip it over, the hair is hanging over, and if you wanted to have your children color. Now, there is, again, like I have shared the legend, or read the legend of the no-face doll, and the one sister being the corn, and how the no-face dolls came to be. And so that's what it is. It's simple. Like, it's, if you're looking, there's no face to it. So you're gonna let this dry, okay? There's mom. So that's what you're going to do with mom. And as you can see, just the 6 corn husks I used it's thick enough. So I'm gonna just place it here. And I'm going to take some more sinew, twine, which is what I'm using. Cut up some more pieces. It doesn't make much of a mess either, which is great for us people who don't really want to have too much of a mess to clean up afterwards. And like I said, it's so simple that you can do this with your children, and you can let it dry. If they want to paint it afterwards, color it, whatever they want to do, you know. Tell them to go ahead and to enjoy their time, and it's a simple activity to teach your children. And like I said, I've read the legend. You can find that on a lot of places on the internet, reliable sources to read about the corn husk, the no-face doll, and you can read that story with them. So what I'm going to do next is the difference between doing a male and a female is just one thing. That one thing is actually the legs. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So here we go. So when I was talking about if you wanted to add some hair, so remember, we split the corn husks after we tied off at the top, 3 and 3, right? 1, 2, 3, just like that. You could take some yarn and you could put it in between here. Let's say, I'm just going to do this for example, you know. So you want some hair, or your children want some hair for their doll. You could use extra corn husk, you could use ribbon, yarn. I'm just going to use this just as an example. So what you would do is, because you're going to pinch them off at the top, you would put that yarn, that yarn on the inside like this, upside down, and add as much as you want for the hair and put it at the top, and then take the other 3 parts and layer it over. So that's, again, 6 corn husks altogether. I think I gotta lower this one, because some of them, as you can see, they're quite different in length. So again, try your best to keep this all even at the bottom. So there you go. Again, we'll pinch it off at the top. We'll tie it, pull tight. I'll just wrap it around because I got a long piece of yarn here, twine, and there you go. Okay, so there's the top again pinched off. So let's count 1, 2, as you can see, 3. And there's that twine I told you about. You're looking to put hair, right? Remember to tuck that in, that tied off piece that you've done. And you can pull the corn husk layers around at the top to kind of, you know, section it off to the way you want. So there, that could be the hair. I know this doesn't look that great. It's just showing you as an example of what you would do to add some hair to your corn husk no face doll. So what we're going to do now is we're going to again tie it off, make the head, the face. The face is not, remember, it's no face. I mean, if your children choose they want to color and draw a face, you can let them do that. That's, you know, choice and option. That's great, no problem. Okay, so there we go. Again, excuse some of the funky looking hair I put on my male corn husk doll here. Okay, so I'll cut off the extra little piece here. Cut it off. Okay, so there we go again. We're back to that. So there's the female, and here's the male. The couple, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, cook 'em, wish 'em, whatever. Okay, so remember we need another piece of corn husk, because this piece is going to be the arms. If we remember that, we need arms for our doll. Again, roll it up. You can see, roll it tightly as you can, or, you know, because it does loosen up a little bit. So there you go. Tie it up again. So we go back to putting the arms in right in the middle. 1, 2, 3 on one side, and 1, 2, 3 on the other side. And whoops, there we go. Okay, tuck the arms in there. This one's got shorter arms. Doesn't, I don't know. Maybe you should unroll it. What I'll do is this, sorry. We'll just do it this way, okay? Give them longer arms. We don't want them to have short arms, do we? So now it's like, now again, you tie off the piece where the waist is, right? Okay. Tie it. I hope you guys have been able to see this clearly. It's kind of hard. This guy's got extra arms, long arms. We're gonna fix that though, don't worry about it. I'll tuck those arms back in there. Or maybe I could just take a piece of the yarn again, our twine, cut it in half. Tie off where the hands will go. Whoops. Sorry. There we go. One side. To the second side. And because this is a long piece of corn husk, when I trim off these, I'm going to actually trim off some of that
corn husk there at the end, so the arms are not so long. Okay, there. See? Hello, Ani, Tansei, Sego. So, let me move up his waistline a little bit more. Move it up a bit, because what we're going to do now is we're going to make the legs for our friend here. Again, you want to, take those corn husks, separate them. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and as you can see, there we go. This one is some thick corn husk here, right? Okay, so I need to cut more of the, you know, because there's scissors involved, and make sure you're with your children when they're using scissors because they're sharp, right? So what we're going to do next to make it a male is you just take some of your string or whatever you want, and you tie it off at the bottom. There you go. One leg. Two legs. There you go. Now, I guess if you wanted to, your choice, instead of separating them like this, you know, you can, the corn husk, if you wanted to cut down the middle, like you don't even have to use scissors to separate, peel apart the corn husk because they're very fragile that way. There we go. There is the male corn husk. And again, it's going to be a little bit easier to stand up the female corn husk because they're all bunched up like this, and it's going to be a little bit harder with the male corn husk. So I'm just going to trim it off at the ends to do my best to see if he can stand on his own. And there we go. There you go. There is a male corn husk, no face corn husk doll, and the female. There's the couple. So you can make a family. What you could, when you go to make the male, the female, the girl, the boy, you just cut the corn husk to make them shorter, and you can have a whole family of no face corn husk dolls. So this is what I know, how I know to make these corn husk dolls. Again, remember about the hair part. You let this all dry, you let them stand, you let them dry, and after that, I guess if you're crafty enough to make some doll clothing and you wanted to add or put some glue on sparkles on, or whatever you want, your children want, they can do that. So just put this back up to me. Sorry, I've got no professional camera here. So here we go, the no face corn husk doll. Thank you. I hope you give this a try. I really hope you enjoy this. Again, not costly. It's easy. It's fun. Do it anywhere. But thank you for joining me. I hope you guys enjoy it. Remember to check out the other videos on Nuwasa's Facebook and YouTube site. And again, thank you very much. Chimigwech. Hi hi. Be safe and keep well. Thank you.